Welcome to another episode of the Unprofessional Parenting Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lainey.
And Lainey, we are back with another episode. How you feeling?
We sure are. I'm feeling okay, I guess.
Okay, I guess. Good.
Yeah.
That's good enough. We can continue.
Okay, good.
That's an acceptable answer. I love that. This is a special week for us.
Yeah.
Not our anniversary.
No.
Nothing special between the two of us as a married couple, except for our kids are at camp.
Our kids are gone for the whole week at camp.
They
Yes.
are, yes. Mm-hmm. They are gone out of state to a camp, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And they have no electronic contact with anybody.
Nothing.
And we won't hear from them until next Saturday. And so it's just you and I here at the house with the dogs and the cat. And it's nice.
Getting stuff done.
It's a little quiet.
It is.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. I kind of like it too.
But I'm sure I'm going to be, a little mopey and missing them by the end of the week.
I already miss our kids. But that's who I am as a person. When they left the airport on an airplane and waved at me, that's that.
Did you get a little tear in your
right
eye?
Yeah, this really is not my favorite thing of all time.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that they're at camp. We've talked about this and we agreed. And just a sidebar of our conversation here today of why we are sending them on a camp experience by themselves. And what gave us the peace of mind to be able to do that, and why did we choose to do that in the first place? Why did we do that? As you tell people.
Yeah, I think it's great for kids to, this is research based. It's so good for kids to be able to get away from their parents for a little bit and be able to make decisions on their own, to be able to flex those independent muscles a little bit, to even maybe fail a little bit and have to figure out how to fix whatever has happened.
Yep.
So this is a super safe environment for them to be able to do that in. We know the directors of the camp. We're really good friends with them. We know that they're in good hands while they're away from us.
Yeah.
So this was an opportunity for them to just learn how to be more independent and do things without mommy and daddy there to do everything for them.
Right. And we've been to this camp. I used to speak at this camp.
Yeah.
We've been a couple times.
Yeah.
And Maple Ridge Ranch in New York.
Yeah, the kids have been. I mean, this isn't their first time at this camp.
So they're familiar with it.
It's their first time there without us.
Right. And the plan was for me to fly up to New York with them.
Right.
And to get off the plane and go on a different plane and fly back home immediately and kind of just be there as a shadow to walk through security and bag check and all that stuff with them. And I got to the point where we were right at the gate, and this is like a 6 a.m. flight. We had to get there so early.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was so dark. And I got to the gate and I was about to walk on the plane, and I'm thinking to myself, our kids are doing so well. They're doing so well. And they were following our instructions that we gave them beforehand so well. And so I made the decision. I'm like, Lainey, can you come pick me up?
It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I had already gotten back in bed to go back to sleep, and you're like,
wait, just come get me.
Back to the airport because I don't want to get on this flight.
Just come and get me, because I do think that I can go home.
Yeah.
And so I talked to the kids. I was like, listen, I'll go if you want me to, but I'd kind of like to stay and not go. Save me 6 hours. And they're like, no, you stay. And then they walked through the little tunnel. They walked up the stairs of the plane. They waved at me. My daughter called me when she got to their destination. We know that they got to camp, but we haven't heard from them in 24 hours. Yeah. So that is...
Yeah. Oh, they're having a blast.
Yeah, it's fun.
Us.
It's fun and exciting, and I'm excited for them. And the camp that they're at, they just do a really good job. And I'm just really excited for them to experience it.
Yeah.
So they'll fly back by themselves.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. And we get the week to ourselves.
It's honestly, all of it is a win.
Yeah. Huge win.
Yeah.
But you will miss the kids at some point.
I will, yeah. My schedule that I'm anticipating is these first couple days. I feel great because nobody's asking me questions. I'm not cleaning up any messes.
Cooking for two.
I'm not, I don't even have to really do a full meal schedule. I feel really locked into breakfast, lunch, dinner, all at certain times when the kids are here. But when it's just us, it's whatever. Eat when you're hungry because I don't care. So it's just... This feels like a lot of freedom for me right now. That pre-kid freedom that you really do enjoy as an adult. But I know in the next couple days, it's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
Of where are my kids?
Yeah, and this camp is a really great opportunity for them to grow in their relationship with Jesus.
Yep.
So we're just praying for breakthrough for them, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really good.
So if you have an opportunity, to send your kids away, do it. And also, I hope that this normalizes the idea that foster kids and adopted kids can have really normal kid experiences also.
Exactly.
And they can thrive. Now, we have done a lot of groundwork, I think, on the front end. I probably would not have felt comfortable doing this a couple years ago.
Right. No, I would agree with that.
So we've done a lot of work. They've done a lot of work to get them to this place where
they can do it.
We totally trust them to go
They're gonna
somewhere without us.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be really great. If you're looking for recommendations for a summer camp, just hit us up in comments or shoot us a DM on our Instagram or something like that. We'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
It'd be great. Today's episode, we are excited because we get to do a little something different.
I know, we're going to be movie critics today.
Yeah, we're going to be critics of a movie. This movie is called Instant Family. Instant Family. It's about foster care and adoption. So we are going to talk about the things that we agree with in the way that they portray foster care and adoption. Things that we thought were good in promotion and things that we thought were maybe a little over glamorized with Hollywood. And we don't want you to watch the movie and think, oh, this is how it's going to be for us, right? So we just want to disagree with some of those things. We also want to agree with some of those things. And the way we came about that movie was actually kind of funny. That night we were sitting down, as we typically do, you and I, to wind down the night. We either watch some sort of show or we play Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah.
Nintendo, if you're looking to sponsor us, we would love for you to do that.
Can you imagine?
We play Mario Party Jamboree so often. And it's
I think like every day, to be honest.
It's great. I love it. I love it so much.
It's just part of our routine.
Right. And so we're in the middle of a game, like heated battle.
Yeah.
And two of our children, who you described, I've heard in the past, as our golden retriever children.
They are. I think they are.
What do you mean by that?
Like, they are just the super lighthearted, always wanting to have fun, very creative. Like, if you spontaneously come up with a plan, they are the kids that are like, yup, absolutely.
Supreme optimists about
yes. Like, we can make anything fun type of kids.
Right. And so they came to our room. They're like, hey, we have an idea. And we're like, okay. And so they left and they came back and they're like, hey, the idea is taking place right now. You guys need to come out and see this. We'll close your eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness, what did they do? Like, we heard them moving some stuff around our house and stuff. And we walk out and they had built an entire movie theater with the ticketing system, a snack bar and stuff like that. So they
ice cream on the counter.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
They took everything out of our freezer. It was funny.
Yep.
But so we went through the whole process, order the snacks and all that stuff, and then it came down to the movie. And you're not a big movie person.
I don't love movies.
Yeah,
I don't.
We all know this about you.
Yeah.
Do some movie trivia.
The kids know. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Not your favorite thing. Not your favorite thing. And so it came to movie time, and you started walking out the room.
I literally was like, all right, I did my magical bit, my imaginary bit.
Yeah.
And then I started walking out of the room.
And then our non-golden retriever child.
Oh, man.
Who's deep in thought, deep thinker, deep emotional.
Yeah.
Called you out on it. You heard her just say.
She had some slick comment under her breath to the other kids. She's like, I told you she wouldn't watch the movie.
Yep.
And I was like,
That's exactly how it
nope,
is. Right.
Nope, that's not going to fly for me.
So you turned around.
Turned my butt back around.
Yeah.
Sat down on the couch. I said, can't wait to watch the movie, kids.
The whole movie. It's going to be awesome. So we settled on an Instant Family, and a little bit of a disclaimer before we get started. Looking back, hindsight 2020, we just saw the description in the movie and watched a trailer, and we thought it was a cute movie for our whole family to watch. However, we do have a 9-year-old, and I would not suggest sitting down with your 9-year-old to watch this because there are some adult and mature things that might not be good content for your 9-year-old kid. In hindsight,
there is a decent amount of cussing that I wasn't prepared for.
Right.
Also, just some sexual content, nothing explicit. But
just stuff you don't want your 9-year-old to watch.
Right.
It just felt weird.
Right. Like it was the one of the main characters is a teenage girl. So it was kind of like just diving into her like boyfriend is high school stuff. Yeah. And it was just kind of like, I don't know if I want my like young son to be exposed to this right now. But for our girls, I think it was spot on. Like, they're
walking that life.
They're living it right now. So I personally, as a parent, don't have an issue watching that type of content with them. I don't know. I can't really give it a overgeneralized thing there because there's a lot of sexual content that I definitely don't allow them to watch. But I think that this movie in particular was realistic and innocent enough that it aligned with what they are walking through.
I would agree with that. So just a little disclaimer on the front end. Yeah. But the whole premise of this movie is a couple, which is Mark Wahlberg and don't know the actress's name.
Yeah, she's probably famous, but I don't know her.
She's very famous. She's in a lot of movies. I just don't. I think she's in Bridesmaids. No.
Wait.
Yeah.
She's the bride.
No. She's not the bride. Wait. She is one of the bridesmaids who like is in competition.
Oh,
with
yes, she's like the maid of honor that's like perfect and has all the good ideas.
Yeah, whoever that is. If you know the actress's name, there you go. That's her. Mm-hmm. But they are a couple, and they had been caught up in their work for a very long time, renovating and flipping houses and selling their houses, really caught up in their jobs. And they finally got to the point where they're like, you know, we want a family. Like, we should grow our family. And so they started looking into fostering, and that led to adoption by the end of the movie.
Spoiler alert.
I'm so sorry.
Dang.
Rewind that. I apologize. But so sorry.
Jeez.
But anyway, so we wanted to talk about the way that the movie portrayed foster care.
Right.
The good way that they did it, and the bad ways that we think that could use a little bit of help with that. So can you give us one of the things that you agree with the way that they portrayed foster care? One of the things right off the top.
Yeah, I do recommend this movie to people who are thinking about becoming foster parents. Yeah. Just generally speaking, I think it does a pretty good job of representing foster as much as you can represent foster care in like a 2-hour movie. So I do recommend it to people. And I actually recommend it to adoptive parents too. Like, it does kind of hit you in certain feels and reminds you of certain perspectives.
For sure.
So I think the first thing that this movie does really well is portraying what it's like for extended family and friends to react to your decision of becoming a foster parent. There's conversation and a scene or two revolving around when they kind of announce to their family, I think we're going to be foster parents.
Right.
And it gives you the good perspective of, I think one of the mom or something, the mother-in-law ends up being like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. You're a hero. Like, over
the saviorism.
The saviorism aspect that people tend to do. And they give the opposite side of the spectrum of like
complete disagreement.
Total confusion.
Or ignorance too.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? That's insane.
Right. Why aren't you just trying to have your own biological kids? Why would you try to foster it? Why are you doing it? Isn't it dangerous? Aren't you going to have dangerous kids around? I don't want those kids around my kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's even some of the lines that we saw.
They speak really negatively about foster children in those conversations.
Ignorantly.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it does. I think the movie does well and does justice to the fact that when you step into this world, a lot of people in your life are not going to understand that decision.
Right. And we had a conversation after we watched about that very thing, about, you know, some of our friends and some of our family members and things of that nature. When we were explaining this call, why we wanted to do this, all this other stuff, the initial shock of it was like, oh, okay, you know, it's just this weird tension that you felt. But you know, thankfully our family and our friends have been so supportive. Most of them have been so supportive, and some just still don't understand, you know, the process and things of that nature, which is fine. But yeah, that was a really good way of portraying the bomb drop, if you will, of announcing that you're going into foster care. And that scene is hilarious too. That scene is so funny. One of the things I thought was a good portrayal of foster care is there is a scene where the husband and wife have they go through phases, right? So they go through this honeymoon phase back up a little bit. They end up fostering a sibling group. It's not just one. They're convinced to adopt or to foster.
Which is also accurate.
Yeah, very accurate in and of itself too, because we've lived that for our lives.
You go in thinking like, oh, they literally were like, we just want one. Like, we're going to do one. And so they like find this girl. They're like, oh yeah, we'll commit to her. And they're like, oh, well, she comes with two others, siblings.
Right? So, and then it's like, well, how can you say no now? And so they go through this phase, you know, where they invite them into their home. the first night, we saw like they were just waiting on them hand and foot.
Yes.
Can I get you a water? Good night. Like, is there anything else I can do for you? And it's so relatable because
first night
I walked through that like to a T. Like it's perfect. I was like, man, this is literally me. Yeah. This is so me. And then they go through that first honeymoon stage where they have a foster care support group, and they show up to their foster care support group, and they're talking about their first week with their kids, and all the other people are complaining about some of the issues that they're experiencing in their home. And they're like, our kids we must have gotten really good kids because they're perfect little angels, right? And so they start talking about the honeymoon period, and then the honeymoon period's over, and the trauma, starts to rise to the top, and the actions and the behaviors and things of that nature. And they have this conversation where they are in their bed, all the kids are asleep, and they talk to each other like, how do we send these kids back?
Yep. Where's the return receipt?
Right, exactly. Yeah. How do we return the sender, please? Because there's something going on here that we cannot control.
Yeah, because the question you ask yourself at that point, when it gets real and you start seeing the struggles that these children have, then you start asking yourself, what did we do?
Yeah. What, did we make a mistake?
Did we do something? Was this a terrible idea?
Right. And so they have that conversation, but at the end of that conversation, I love what they say, because they're talking about like how all the different ways and intricacies that they're going to, like the story that they're going to tell of how they send their kids back.
Right. Like, yeah.
But at the end of it, they look at each other like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, of course we're not doing that.
We can't do that, right?
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of places that we've been, like even early on in our foster journey, where we're like, oh my gosh, did we make a huge mistake?
I think it's totally normal. And I have done this so many times to fantasize, like when life gets really hard or you're dealing with a really difficult behavior or the season you're in is just like tough. I think it's really normal to fantasize what life would have been like if I hadn't done this.
Yep.
Like, where would my life be? And that's just it's a pity party. And I think we all do it as human beings. Where would my life be if I hadn't said yes to foster care?
Right.
And I think about it from time to time. I mean, the thoughts are much less often now than they were at the beginning. But there's definitely normal thoughts in just, gosh, I would have been able to afford that vacation, or I wouldn't have been kicked out of this school and that school and told I can't come back to this playgroup.
I wouldn't be having to deal with all this interpersonal stuff on behalf of my kids, like with other families and things of that nature, right?
I wouldn't have a kid telling me that they hate me and don't want me to be their real mom, and I wouldn't have, like you just, you kind of fantasize. It's normal to find yourself in that fantasy of, what if I hadn't done this?
Right, yeah. No, so it perfectly portrays that. And one of the things I also loved about that is it was a real glimpse for our kids to see the thought processes of the foster parents that they don't see behind closed doors.
Right.
Like those are the conversations that we have, just the two of us without our kids involved, because we don't want to subject them to that process. Right. But they get to see it played out in another family, in another conversation, in a movie. And they get to see that there are conversations that are hard, like existential conversations about foster care and things of that nature that parents do have.
And I even made a comment out loud after that scene, and I was like, oh man, Matt, I remember those conversations. And our deep feeling child goes, I knew it. I knew you didn't want us. I knew you wanted to send us back.
Right.
But then the conversation after that is, but did we?
Yeah.
We didn't.
No.
You're ours forever.
Yeah, we adopted you.
And it's okay to have thoughts like that. It's okay to have doubts. It's okay to have fears.
Yep.
But we committed and we stuck through it. So there's
100%.
It was a really cool conversation piece there.
No, absolutely. So those are a couple things that we really agree with. The way they portrayed. What are some things that you disagreed with? Maybe that Hollywood over glamorized something. I know there's a couple that we had talked about before this episode, but just give us a couple right off the top.
Yeah, I think right off the bat, when they're in this kind of info session of sorts, learning about what foster care is with the social workers that are there, the whole thing is presented as fostering to adopt. So the whole class, the whole info session is like, okay, we're so happy you're here. I think they even say the line like fostering to adopt. And so that is a frustrating piece to me, because if like if I was president for a day, that is what I would change. I would like literally make it illegal to say anything about fostering to adopt.
Yeah.
Because that is never a thing.
Or a mindset that you should have going in.
Right. So I think it's easy for the movie to just kind of quickly portray that, but that's not reality of becoming
right. And again, they only have 2 hours to kind of figure out how to tell a whole story there. And so you get from the foster to adopt. And the term foster to adopt is just something that's so normal in our language. You talk about it with like dogs.
Puppies. That is for puppies.
Yeah.
But it's not for children.
Yeah. But when it comes to, you know, human beings and the system and things of that nature, like you shouldn't have the mindset of like, I'm getting into foster care so that I can adopt. Those are two separate entities.
Yes, two different paths.
And there's also something that I liked about the movie that we didn't talk about in the previous segment is like, there's a point where the 3 kids that are living with this husband and wife are set to be reunified with their biological mom. And they're sitting there in the disbelief of like, well, we've been taking care of these kids for, you know, months and months, and we're treating them like our children. Like we are on this adoption route, but we are now sitting before you and you're telling us that we're going to have to give these kids away. So they had to wrestle with that in real time, and it was tough.
Yeah, there's a specific line when the foster mom is talking to the social workers about the kids are going to be reunified at this certain date. And this the social worker says something like, well, the state is not in the business of disrupting families. Like the state does not want to disrupt families if they don't have to. And the foster mom says back, but what about this disruption to our family?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, like it just hits you because it's a both and.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, that birth family, that biological family has been disrupted and shaken, which is, it should never be plan A.
Yeah.
But also foster families really become attached to children in their home.
Right.
And yeah, it then becomes a disruption to that family also.
Yeah, it is a delicate situation. And we've had friends that have walked through that reunification process, and it's been tough, and my heart breaks for that. And it's just, you don't see that side.
Yeah.
Right? You don't see that side, but the movie talked about it a little bit. What's another thing that you were like, I'm not so sure that they're getting it right in this movie?
I think if you watch this movie, and obviously this is not a critique to the movie necessarily, but I think you need to be careful in watching the movie because it speeds up the timeline so much. Yeah. So this movie is like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you go through the entire like becoming licensed all the way through adoption to the like glamorous happy ending.
Yeah. In a matter of months.
In a matter of like, right. So you're watching it in 2 hours. It feels very fast. It feels like everything moves very quickly.
Right.
In reality, this movie, if it played out in real life, could take 3 years.
Right. Like we know families who are still like in the foster process and still trying to adopt these children.
Yeah.
Whose cases are like coming to a close, but they've been in the home for years. Years.
Yeah.
And so the sped up timeline is like, oh man.
It just kind
I
of
just hope
like
that people don't.
you.
Yeah. I hope people don't in their mind are like, oh, foster care, I'm going to do it for a season, or I'm going to do it for 6 months, and it's going to be really great, and the kid's going to do it. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. The timelines are rough in that movie. One of the things that I disagreed with is at the end of the movie, you know, there's a whole falling out. I don't want to spoil the movie too much in case people want to watch it, but there's a whole falling out with the teenage girl and the family who's you know, has them in their home and stuff like that. And in the end, they end up adopting these kids.
Yeah.
And they go to their adoption trial, and you know, everybody's smiling, happy-go-lucky, and the movie just ends. And
they show them like in their home, like there's no more trauma behaviors.
Yep, they're calling them mom and dad.
The teenager, this like 15-year-old teenage girl is suddenly like,
Mom.
Has this epiphany moment of like, oh, you're right, you've been caring for me this whole time, you know? Yeah. And so my disagreement with that is like, it is not all happy-go-lucky after that fact. And I know it was a 2-hour movie and they couldn't, you know, fit more onto that or whatever. Maybe they'll make a sequel. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's Hollywood.
But just they don't unpack the lifelong struggle for affection, like what's the word I'm looking for? Connection and things of that nature that I think are need to be promoted a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough thing.
Yeah, I think the myth there is that adoption is the bow on top and is the end of the story,
right? And
is the end of trauma.
Yeah.
And the beginning of stability. And that's just not true. I mean, adoption is truly the beginning of
the next hill you climb.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Of a lot of mess, of a lot of healing, because healing is not linear and it is painful and messy.
Yep.
And so I think, yes, it is a very Hollywood ending. But if you walk through adoption, you will know that this is most likely a lifelong process for these kids to work through a lot of the stuff that they've experienced and the lessons that have just been ingrained in their bodies. And I remember even my mom, I think one of our kids was sharing with my mom about like her having nightmares and stuff about her like previous home. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, why are you having nightmares or something? Or
why
like,
are you still thinking about that?
She was just like, not like in a rude way, but she was just kind of questioning like, oh wow, you still think about that? And she asked like, how long does that last for? And I'm like,
ever.
Their whole lives, like it's not, things don't just end, like those memories don't just go away. Their brains working through that trauma and working through those hard times doesn't end because a judge signed a piece of paper to be able to change their last names.
No, I completely agree.
So I think that, I agree. The movie definitely glamorizes the ending, because it's still hard work.
Yeah, and that's okay. And some of those things do happen. Stability can happen when adoption happens, and every story is unique and different. Yeah. I just want to say from our perspective, we saw some stability happen. We saw some, of relinquishing some, thoughts and some feelings about themselves when that happened, but it's still been a process, man.
What really hit me in that movie? Like, it does hit you in the feels a lot. It's very funny. Our kids were hysterically laughing.
So would you recommend it for...
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100% I would. I think if you have older kids, teenagers, I think it's appropriate. Definitely as adults, I would watch it. What really got me is there is a point where the teenage girl comes to this realization that like her fantasy of who she wanted her birth mom to be was not reality.
Yep.
It's a very, very emotional scene of her kind of coming to grips with the fact that she as a child could not force her birth mom to be who she needed to be to be able to raise her.
Yeah.
And of course I'm sitting there like literally trying to fight back tears, like keep it together.
Yeah.
And I look at both of our girls and like they are weeping, crying. And I think it was really good for them to be able to process. And this is something as a parent, you have to gauge your child on if you're going to let them watch something like this. They were able to process like, okay, it's not just me. Like, it's not just me that's sitting in these feelings and like, it's okay. And they were able to see how the foster family stepped in to support her through that moment and that realization.
Fill in the voids,
Yeah, so it was really good for them to be able to watch somebody else on a TV screen experiencing exactly what they've experienced in real life.
Yeah.
And I think it helped them process it.
For sure.
And it also just gave me like a deeper feels of like, ugh, like our kids have had to sit through that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I really enjoyed the emotions of that were really difficult, but I also think that it was a positive thing.
Very good
for them to watch.
Very good. Yeah. So we would recommend if you're a foster family thinking about fostering, or if you just want to watch a good movie, honestly.
Just good movie night.
I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. And go watch it. But that is the end of our episode today.
Yeah, it's the end of our like being movie critics.
Yeah, I felt good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should do that on the side.
Yeah.
It'd be great. Perfect. I'll get in touch with Hollywood. I'll call Hollywood for us.
Please do.
All right. Well, this has been Matt
and Lainey
with another episode of the Unprofessional Parenting Podcast. We will catch you next time.